Today we're looking at my favorite online activities for young learners. Hello, my name is Charlie. I am a Director of Studies and an English teacher, and I've been teaching English for over 10 years. And I've been teaching English online to kids for the last 2 years since the pandemic started. And in this video, I'm going to go through all the activities that my young learner students loved during our time online. So we'll start with number 1. And if you're teaching online using a program like Zoom or Google Meet or any other popular online video conferencing tool, then you should have the option to turn on or off your video. And this is how we're going to play this first activity. What you do is you ask your students to change something about their appearance. So choose one student in your class and ask all the students to pay attention very closely to everything that student is wearing. Count down and tell that particular student to turn off their camera. While their camera is off, that particular student is changing something about their appearance. It could be maybe changing their t-shirt, taking off their glasses, or maybe changing the way they have their hair. That particular student with the camera off still has their audio on, so just ask the student to tell you when they're ready. When that student's ready, turns his camera back on, and the other students have to guess what has changed. Okay, Pedro, are you ready?
Yes, ready, teacher.
Okay, turn off your camera and change something.
Okay, ¿cómo se apaga la cámara?
Okay, Pedro, are you ready?
Listo. I'm ready.
Okay, turn your camera back on, Pedro. Okay. Okay, can anyone notice what's changed? Anyone have any idea? Pedro, did you change something?
Yes, I changed my trousers.
Oh, God. Now, when I was teaching online, I made the most of the fact that my students were at home and not in class. So this is where the idea comes from for activity 2. What I do is I elect one student to go to a room in their house and to take one object. They then come back and sit down at the computer and present their object to the rest of the class. The rest of the class have to guess what room of the house this object is from. So as a teacher, you can go first and bring something like a toothbrush or something that's quite simple for the students to guess where it's from. You can either do this with one individual student or get every student in the class to run off and find one object from one room of the house to bring back to the Zoom or Google Meet call. And the best thing about this activity is that the students, well, they could bring back anything.
Okay, you ready, guys? I want you to go to a room in the house and bring something back, okay? Okay, everyone ready? We're gonna choose a student. Let's start with Pedro. Pedro, can you go to a room in the house and bring back one object? Okay, everybody look, what has Pedro brought back? Pedro, what are you doing with that? Put that back right now. Oh my God.
The next activity is continuing with the same idea by making the most of the fact that students are at home and not in class. The way this activity works is that I choose a colour, a number, and a room in the house. So for example, the colour is red, the number is 3, and the room of the house is the bedroom. The students then have to run off and find 3 red objects from the bedroom. The students then bring these objects back to the Zoom call and they have to identify, name or describe those 3 objects. Once we've done one example, I usually put this on the Zoom or Google Meet Jamboard or whiteboard, and I get the students to come up with colours, numbers and rooms of the house themselves. I even get students to come up with colours, numbers and rooms of the houses for other students in the class. An extension to this activity is to designate a room in the house and ask the students to bring back one object from that room. Get one student to go to the room and the rest to guess what object that student is going to bring back. Now, this next activity can be, let's say, a bit difficult. I set the students some simple questions like what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What do you do on Mondays, for example? And I ask the students to find a family member in the house and ask them that question. and the other students have to predict what the answer is going to be. Now, the questions they ask their family members doesn't have to be in English, but as long as when they come back to the call, they do give the answer or the feedback in English. The next two activities which my students really liked are using the chat function in your online conferencing tools. So tools like Zoom and Google Meet do have a chat function, and you can send messages privately to individual students. You send a word to a student and they have to describe that word to the rest of the class without saying the word. If your students' speaking skills are not high enough for this activity, you can send the word and get them to mime it. The next activity is again using the chat function, and it's sending a private message to a student and asking them to draw it for the rest of the class. Now you can do this using the Zoom whiteboard by just giving the students permission to annotate, or on Google Meet using the Jamboard. The next activity is using flashcards online. Now I did make a video on how to use flashcards online, and I'm going to put the link right here. Now the way this works is that you open up Microsoft Publisher or Google Drawings and you import your images into the document. You then cover each image with a square, and then you can slowly reveal each picture one by one so that the students have to guess what image is beneath each square. Once you have the document set up with all the different images and all the squares on top, there are lots of games you can play. So there you have it. Those are my favorite online activities that I've used with young learners online. If you do teach children online and you are looking for some more activities, I hope this video has helped you. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below if you're going to use any of these activities in your class.